Beautiful soul, somewhere close to you, a person is glowing so brightly that people keep stopping them to ask, "What happened to you? You look different lately." And they smile, but they never fully answer. Because the real answer is you. If any part of that gave you goosebumps, or made your chest feel a little warm, stay with me. This message found you for a reason, and it isn't an accident that you're here right now. Before we go any further, I want you to comment the word glow below right now so we can confirm together that this message is reaching the right heart at the right time. Just one word is enough. It tells the universe you're open and ready to receive what's coming. Dear one, you have no idea what you set in motion in someone else's life. Something big has been quietly building, gently, patiently, and it's about to reach you. Take a slow breath and really listen, because the person you keep thinking about, the one whose energy seems to brush against your soul even when they're far away, that person is glowing right now because of something you did without even realizing it. You didn't try to change their life. You simply showed up as yourself, and that was enough. A new truth is rising, and it's carrying so much weight that if you rush past even a little of this, you might miss the moment that was meant to touch your heart the most. So slow down. Let these words settle in your chest. Dear soul, pause for a moment. Welcome to the Angel's Message for You original channel. Please check the channel name carefully. It's Angel's Message for You. This is our only official channel. Beware of copycat and fake channels. Stay connected to the original source to receive authentic angel messages and true blessings. A very special thank you to dear Stephen and Gail Such Smiley for sowing your seed for Soulmate here through Ko-Fi link. Super thanks. May this seed return to you multiplied with soulmate blessings, divine protection, love, well-being, and abundance. May the angels guide and watch over you always. Thank you for your beautiful support. Blessings always. Let's know what angels want us to know. This person can't explain why their heart feels lighter lately, why their nights feel calmer, why, when they catch their reflection, they look softer, brighter, more alive than they have in a long time. They don't know how to put it into words, but the truth is simple. None of this came from a mirror. Came from you. The way you showed up for their spirit when no one else did. The way your presence wrapped around their chaos and made it feel survivable. The way one small sentence from you rearranged something inside their heartbeat, quietly, without either of you fully realizing it at the time. They haven't told you this, but you healed a part of them they had quietly given up on ever fixing. Let me tell you something a little early, something that might make your chest tighten with curiosity. This person has been replaying every moment they've shared with you like it's something sacred. Not because it was dramatic or perfect, but because it was real, and real things are rare. They're glowing because you woke up a version of them they thought had gone quiet forever, a version that still believed in good things happening. Something inside them is becoming whole again, growing again, shining again, and you're the reason their eyes carry a light that the people around them can feel but can't quite name. They haven't said it out loud, but your energy reached them somewhere so deep that even their silence feels different now, softer, warmer, less guarded. And what's coming next is going to shift something gently in both your worlds. Dear one, the moment you open this part, something shifted in the air around you. Something big has been waiting patiently, and now it's even closer than before. The person who's glowing because of you isn't only thinking about you anymore. They're waking up because of you. Something in them is stirring in a way it never has before, and it's happening because you touched a place inside them that nobody else ever fully reached, not even people who have known them much longer than you have. A deeper truth is rising now, one they've tried to hide even from themselves for a long time. For years, they felt invisible, like no one truly saw who they were underneath the surface they showed to the world. But you saw their heart before you noticed anything else about them. You understood their silence when other people brushed past it without a second thought. You felt their pain when others simply didn't notice or didn't care to look closer. That one moment of real connection became the spark that's now quietly lighting up their whole world. People around them have started whispering, "Why do you seem so different lately? What's going on with you?" But they can't say your name out loud just yet. They're holding the feeling close, protecting it like something fragile and precious that they're not ready to share. Dear one, as you move into this part, another layer of their hidden truth begins to rise gently to the surface. Something big is close now, right at the edge of what they've been too afraid to admit even to themselves. The glow you're sensing on this person isn't just happiness anymore. It's transformation. They're becoming someone they never believed they had the courage to be, someone softer and more open, and it's happening because your presence reached the quiet corners of who they are. A gentle storm is moving through their heart, and they're a little stunned by what you've stirred in them without even trying. You didn't just touch their day. You touched their spirit. You touched their hope. You touched their ability to trust love again after they had quietly stopped expecting it. No one had ever made them feel safe enough to open the wounds they kept hidden from everyone, including themselves. But something about the way you looked at them, the way you listened, made a quiet voice inside them whisper, "I can finally breathe here." Your kindness loosened chains they'd been carrying alone for years, without complaint. You may not fully see how much your presence mattered, but they do, deeply. They think about it before they fall asleep almost every night now. And now comes the part they've been almost afraid to admit, even to themselves, let alone to you. They're glowing because they've fallen for you in a way they can't undo and honestly don't want to undo. They're a little scared of how deeply they feel it, scared of what rises in their chest when they hear your name mentioned, scared of the way their heart leans toward you like it just found a missing piece of its own story that had been missing for years. They didn't plan this. They didn't see it coming, and maybe you didn't either. But your energy wrapped around their chaos and made them feel seen, alive, and truly cherished, maybe for the first time in a long while. And now something in them is getting ready to do something they never expected they'd have the courage for. In the next part, the truth they've been holding on to will start to come into the light, gently and honestly. Dear one, as you step into this part, the energy around you feels sharper, like a truth standing right at the edge of being spoken out loud. Something big is close now, and it's carrying the weight of everything they've been quietly holding in their chest for longer than you know. The glow on this person isn't random. It's your impact written gently into who they are becoming. They don't just feel different around you. They are different because of you in ways that will likely last far beyond this moment. A hidden feeling is rising in them like the sun breaking through clouds it can no longer hide behind. Here's the truth. You touched their heart with something so honest and unguarded that their whole world has started to circle around the feeling you gave them. They reread your messages more than once. They replay your words in quiet moments. They think back to the moments you looked at them without any judgment at all, and how rare and healing that felt. They're glowing because your presence made them feel worthy again, after years of feeling forgotten or overlooked. Someone recently told them they seem happier, lighter, softer somehow than before. Someone even asked, "Who's making you glow like this?" They didn't answer out loud, but your name echoed quietly through their mind. Now here comes something important, so stay with me. They've been fighting this feeling, denying it, trembling a little at the thought of it, but they are quietly preparing to take a step toward you. A step brave enough to change something between you gently and honestly. They've been imagining what they'd say, how they'd finally admit that the glow on their face comes from the way you touched their soul without even trying to. They're afraid, yes, understandably so, but their heart keeps pushing a little harder every single day that passes. Before long, their truth is going to come out into the open. In the next part, something is beginning to quietly align between you and this person. Something you didn't fully expect but may have secretly hoped for. Dear one, as you enter this part, the air around you feels different, like everything is holding its breath for just a moment. Something big is waiting, and this time it isn't just a feeling. It's a shift. A quiet pull toward a truth that's been growing steadily and quietly inside this person for a while now. Their glow isn't accidental anymore. It's a sign that you woke something in them that never stirred quite like this for anyone else before you came along. A quiet fire is burning steadily inside them, and each day it becomes a little harder for them to keep it fully contained. You reached a part of their heart they had locked away long ago, a place even they were afraid to visit on their own. Your presence helped them believe again. Believe in connection. Believe in healing. Believe that love doesn't always have to hurt the way it once did for them. People around them can see the glow clearly, but they don't understand where it comes from. Only this person knows the real reason. And your name is the quiet answer whispered inside them. Every time someone asks why they seem lighter, softer, almost renewed lately. And now, the truth they can't outrun any longer, no matter how hard they try. You've become their calm, their comfort, their small, quiet miracle in the middle of an ordinary day. They're glowing because your energy moved through their darkness like sunrise after a very long night that felt like it would never end. They've imagined conversations with you late at night. Imagine sitting beside you in comfortable silence. Imagine finally saying the things they've held back out of fear of losing you or scaring you away. But something inside them has crossed a line they can't uncross now. They know they can't stay quiet about this forever, even though it feels safer to. In the next part, a decision they made in complete privacy is going to come forward, and it may genuinely surprise you. Dear one, as you open this part, a new energy rises around you, steady and impossible to ignore any longer. Something big has been waiting, and this time it's the truth they've kept hidden behind every smile and every quiet, ordinary moment you've shared. You touched a part of them they never let anyone else near, and now that part is waking up with a force they can't hold back much longer. A truth they've been afraid to speak is stirring in their chest, and every day makes it a little harder to keep it in. They keep remembering how you made them feel seen without ever asking for anything back in return. How your presence calmed their inner storms, even on their hardest days. How your energy wrapped around them like warmth in a world that had often felt cold and indifferent to them. This glow you're noticing isn't only emotion, it's growth. They're becoming braver, lighter, someone who's finally starting to believe that joy is meant for them too, not just for other people. And it's happening because of you and the way you've shown up. Now comes something they've kept hidden even from the people closest to them, the ones who would normally know everything. They've made a quiet decision, one that involves stepping closer to you than they've ever stepped toward anyone before in their life. They've been rehearsing the words in their mind, imagining how you might respond, hoping quietly that your heart will meet theirs somewhere in the middle. They want to tell you the truth behind their glow. They want you to know how deeply you've touched them, more than words usually allow. And they know that soon, they won't be able to hold it back any longer, no matter how much fear tells them to stay quiet. In the next part, something unexpected is going to gently bring this closer to the surface. Dear beloved soul, before we move forward, I'd like to share a gentle invitation with you. Every soulmate journey is precious in God's eyes. Sometimes, this sacred connection benefits from an extra layer of faith, love, and spiritual covering as it unfolds in divine timing. If you would like to make a meaningful gesture for your soulmate, you can sow your seed through Ko-Fi Super Thanks. The Ko-Fi link is waiting for you in the video description and the pinned comment. May your gift become a beautiful intention before heaven, inviting the angels to watch over your soulmate connection, remove unseen obstacles, and surround both hearts with divine light, peace, and guidance as your paths draw closer together. Scripture teaches that generosity reflects a trusting heart. Malachi 3 verse 10 reminds us of God's abundant faithfulness, while 2 Corinthians 9 verse 6 teaches that whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Every gift offered with sincere faith becomes a meaningful expression of trust in God's promises and His perfect timing. If your heart feels moved to sow this seed, thank you sincerely for supporting this ministry and these daily angel messages. May the Lord bless you abundantly, watch over your soulmate, and lead both of you into the beautiful future He has prepared. Now, let's continue with today's angel message. Dear one, as you enter this part, the energy shifts with a gentle intensity, almost like the universe is getting you ready for something that's been waiting patiently to be said. Their glow has reached a point where hiding it feels almost impossible now, even to people who don't know the full story. Your presence has changed something in them they never expected could shift so completely. A quiet swirl of feeling moves through them, and every memory of you adds a little more fuel to it. They keep replaying the moment you first entered their life, even if it seemed small at the time. The moment your words softened wounds they've been carrying alone for years. The moment you gently, unknowingly, walked into a locked part of their heart and turned the light back on without even trying to. People around them keep asking why they seem so different lately, why they smile for no clear reason, why their eyes seem to hold a quiet kind of peace they hadn't carried before. That quiet peace is you. Your impact has become their own inner sunrise, one they return to often. Now comes a truth that might genuinely move you. They've reached a point where staying silent no longer feels possible or even fair to either of you. This glow is their heart getting ready to speak. Finally, after holding it in for so long, they've made up their mind. They want to share everything. The feelings, the quiet admiration, the deep connection, the pull they feel every single time your name crosses their thoughts during the day. They're no longer afraid of losing you the way they once were. Now they're more afraid of losing the chance to tell you what you really mean to them while they still have it. In the next part, something unexpected will help bring their truth a little closer to you. Dear one, the moment you step into this part, something meaningful begins to shift, almost like a curtain is being gently lifted from a truth that's been quietly humming beneath the surface for some time. The glow everyone notices on them isn't random. It's the echo of your presence living quietly inside their soul. You touched them in a way that reshaped their entire inner world, more than either of you may have realized at first. Their heart feels full, almost overflowing, and they can't hold back what you sparked in them anymore, even if they wanted to. You made them feel understood in a way they'd never quite experienced before. Not like this. You made them feel valued without ever asking for anything back in return. You made them feel alive, even in the moments they were quietly struggling inside their own thoughts and doubts. Every time they think of you, warmth spreads slowly through their chest. Every time they remember your voice, their heartbeat quickens just a little. Every time they replay your words, something in their eyes softens without them meaning it to. This glow is your gentle fingerprint left quietly on their spirit. Now comes something worth paying close attention to. They've reached the edge of their own silence, closer than they've ever been before. Something small but powerful happened recently. Maybe a dream, a sign, a memory, a sudden feeling that made them realize they simply can't stay quiet much longer about any of this. They're getting ready to open their heart fully, even though it feels a little terrifying. In the next part, a moment that gently pushes them toward honesty begins to unfold naturally. Dear one, as you enter this part, the energy tightens a little, like a heartbeat waiting for words that refuse to stay hidden any longer. Their glow has reached its peak, and the truth behind it is finally ready to come forward into the open. You touched a part of them so deeply that even their silence can't contain it anymore, no matter how hard they try. Their emotions move like gentle waves they can no longer fully control, and every thought of you makes the feeling stronger and harder to ignore. They're glowing because you helped restore a part of them they thought was permanently worn down by everything they'd been through. You helped them believe in warmth again. You helped them feel alive again after feeling numb for a long time. You helped them smile without effort, dream without fear, hope without hesitation. They replay the smallest moments with you. Your laugh, your kindness, your words, and each memory adds a little more light to their face without them even noticing. Someone recently told them, "Something about you has changed. You look brighter these days." If only they knew it's you. Now comes a moment worth hearing clearly. They've made a decision that could change everything between you in a good way. A decision to step out of fear and into honesty, finally. They've realized that staying quiet about their feelings is hurting more than being honest ever could, no matter how uncertain the outcome feels. They're preparing to open their heart in a way they've never opened it for anyone before in their life. In the next part, something is quietly aligning that will bring their truth a little closer to you. Dear one, as you open this part, the atmosphere feels a little thicker, a little more meaningful than before. Their glow isn't just visible anymore. It's undeniable to almost everyone around them. You touched their soul so deeply that hiding it has become nearly impossible for them now. Something is quietly tightening around their truth, gently guiding it toward the surface, day by day. Their heart is reaching a tender breaking point, full of feelings they've tried to set aside, but simply can't put down anymore. You woke something inside them that refuses to go quiet again, no matter how much time passes. They're glowing because you brought back light they thought they'd lost for good years ago. You made them feel seen in a world where they often felt overlooked or forgotten. You made them feel worthy in moments when they doubted themselves completely and quietly. You made them feel cherished when they had started to feel forgettable to everyone around them. And now the glow on their face has become so clear that even they can't explain it away anymore, even to themselves. Now comes a meaningful turn, so pay close attention to this part. Recently, they experienced something that moved them deeply. A sign, a dream, a sudden wave of emotion, a message you sent, something you said, or even your quiet silence that landed harder than they expected it to. It shook something loose in them gently. It softened their resistance a little more. It helped them realize they can't keep pretending everything is fine anymore. The words they've been holding back are finally rising slowly toward their lips. In the next part, the moment that gently pushes their truth into the open begins to unfold. Dear one, as you enter this part, the energy sharpens a little, like something meaningful is finally ready to be revealed after all this time. Their glow has become something they can no longer hide behind excuses or comfortable silence. You touched their heart in a way that reshaped their whole emotional world, quietly and completely. Their inner world is trembling gently with a truth they've been holding back for a while, and the glow on their face has become the loudest thing they've never actually said out loud to anyone. You brought them healing without ever asking for anything in return. You brought them calm in the middle of chaos when they needed it most. You brought them hope when they were quietly sinking into their own doubts and fears. Every time they think of you, their chest warms gently. Every time they recall your words, their heartbeat quickens a little. Every time they imagine losing you, something in them tightens with quiet worry. That glow isn't only emotion. It's longing, it's attachment, it's love quietly blooming in its own time. Now comes a turning point worth hearing carefully. Something is arranging a moment they won't be able to avoid much longer. A moment where they'll finally face their own truth honestly and openly. Something you do or something they notice about you may gently trigger the words they've been holding back for so long. Whether it's a silence, a message, some distance, or a sudden realization, they'll feel something strong enough that holding back simply won't be possible anymore. In the next part, that honest, unfiltered moment begins to unfold. Dear one, as you open this part, everything feels a little closer, like the beginning of something meant to align gently. Their glow has grown brighter than ever before, because your presence reached a place in them that nothing else ever quite touched. You didn't just affect how they feel day to day. You reached their entire spirit in a lasting way. Their heart is full of a truth too heavy to hide any longer, and every attempt to hold it back only makes the glow more obvious, more real, harder to deny to themselves or anyone else. You healed a wound they believed would never close, no matter how much time passed. You filled a space they thought would stay empty forever. You became the calm in their storms, the warmth in their coldest nights, the reason they look at themselves a little differently now, a little more kindly. People around them are noticing, wondering quietly, but they're staying silent for now, protecting your name like something sacred and worth keeping close. Because this glow isn't just happiness. It's love, quietly waking up inside them after a long sleep. Now comes the shift that's been building gently for a while now. The moment when everything inside them reaches a tender breaking point. Maybe it's a sign, a dream, a sudden fear of losing you, or a flash of memory. But something will move them enough that staying silent no longer feels like a real option anymore. Their heart is ready to share the truth, and the timing is quietly aligning for the moment they finally reveal how deeply you touched their soul. In the next part, that long-held truth finally comes into the light, gently and completely. Dear one, as you step into this part, everything leans a little closer, because you're nearing the moment that holds their hidden truth. Their glow has become almost impossible to contain any longer, because what you've awakened in them isn't soft anymore. It's powerful. It's real. It's undeniable even to people who barely know them. Their feelings are rising like steady waves, stronger every day that passes. And the glow people see on their face is proof of what's happening quietly inside them. You touched a part of their soul that hadn't been touched in a long time, maybe ever before you came along. You made them feel safe. You made them feel wanted. You made them feel alive in ways they can barely put into words without saying your name out loud. They catch their reflection and smile without fully knowing why. They pause mid-conversation, quietly thinking of you out of nowhere. They catch themselves daydreaming because your presence has gently woven itself into their everyday thoughts, more than they expected it to. They're glowing because you've become part of their healing, whether you meant to or not. Now comes the moment this has all been quietly building toward. The feeling inside them has grown too big to keep contained much longer. Soon, Something will happen that gently pushes them to face their emotions directly. Maybe a fear of losing you, a moment of missing you deeply, a powerful sign, or even a quiet silence from you that lands harder than expected. Whatever it is, it will help the truth they've been holding finally come forward into the open. In the next part, that honest, open moment begins, and once it starts, there's no turning back from it. Dear one, as you enter this part, everything feels still, like their soul has been quietly preparing for this moment for a while. Their glow is no longer just a feeling anymore. It's the truth trying to find its way out into the open. You touched something in them so deeply that honesty has become louder than their fear ever was. Their inner world is full, overflowing with feelings they can no longer hold back completely, no matter how hard they try. They replay your words at night before falling asleep. They imagine conversations that haven't happened yet but might soon. They smile at memories no one else knows about but the two of you. This glow isn't only happiness. It's love, gently trying to come forward after being held back for so long. They're glowing because you didn't just touch their heart, you woke up their purpose, their joy, their hope for good things again. People around them can feel the shift, even if they can't name it. Someone even asked them recently, "Who's making you this happy lately?" They froze for a moment because the answer felt too precious, too tender, too sacred to say out loud just yet. That answer is you. And now one final gentle push is arriving quietly but surely, the moment where staying quiet no longer feels possible for them. Something unexpected, a message, a silence, a dream, a sudden pull in their chest, will move them with enough force that they finally open up completely. The truth they've been holding back is going to come out, because their heart simply can't carry the weight of it any longer, and honestly, it shouldn't have to. Dear soul, if you've been choosing love, healing, forgiveness, and faith lately, that beautiful energy may be touching your soulmate journey in ways you cannot yet see. The bond between soulmates is precious, and as two hearts are being prepared for the right time, it can feel meaningful to cover that connection with an extra layer of love, faith, and prayer. If your heart is calling you to do so, you can sow your seed for your soulmate through Ko-Fi Super Thanks. You'll find the Ko-Fi link in the video description and the pinned comment. This simple act can become a heartfelt expression of your intention, inviting the angels to watch over your soulmate connection, surround it with divine light, and guide both hearts toward healing, peace, and the love they are meant to experience. If you feel led to do so, thank you from the bottom of my heart. May your kindness return to you multiplied, and may your soulmate journey continue to unfold with peace, hope, healing, and divine guidance. Let's continue with Angel's message. Dear one, before we close this message together, I want you to place a hand gently on your chest, if you can, and just breathe for a moment. Whatever you've carried into this video today, whatever doubts, whatever tiredness, whatever quiet question you've been holding, let it soften for just a second. You are allowed to receive good news. You are allowed to be loved without earning it first. There's a simple truth underneath everything we've talked about so far. When you show up as yourself honestly and without pretending, you change people. Not because you're trying to, not because you're performing kindness for an audience, just because your presence, plain and real, has weight. It matters. It always has, even on the days you felt invisible or unimportant. So many of us walk through our days assuming we're background characters in other people's stories. We assume our small moments don't count for much. We assume that if we're not doing something big and loud, we're not doing anything at all. But dear one, that isn't true, and somewhere, someone is proof of it right now. A quiet word you said months ago is still living in someone's memory. A moment you almost forgot is still keeping someone warm on a hard night. This is how healing actually works most of the time. Quietly, slowly, through small honest moments that add up into something big, without any of us fully noticing it happening in real time. If you've been waiting for a sign that you're on the right path, that your softness is not a weakness, that your kindness is not wasted, let this be it. Comment the word trust below if you feel that in your chest right now. Let's build a little circle of people who are learning to believe in gentle, quiet things again. Together. You don't have to change who you are to be loved well. You don't have to shrink yourself to be easier to be around. You don't have to prove your worth every single day just to be allowed to rest. The right people, the right connections, the right moments, they find you when you're simply being yourself, tired days and all. And here's something worth remembering on the days doubt creeps back in. Just because someone hasn't said the words out loud yet doesn't mean the feeling isn't real. Silence isn't always distance. Sometimes silence is just fear taking its time to become courage. Sometimes the people who care about us the most are also the most afraid to say so, because saying it out loud makes it real, and real things can be lost. This is true in almost every close bond we carry through life, not just the romantic ones. Friends who care deeply but never quite say it. Family members who show love through small quiet actions instead of words. People are often better at showing love than naming it, and that's worth remembering the next time someone's actions feel warmer than their words. So if you're waiting on someone, be patient with them the way you'd want someone to be patient with you. And if you're the one who's been holding something back, dear one, maybe this is your gentle nudge. Not to rush, just to remember that honesty, offered kindly, rarely makes things worse in the long run. Before you go, take one more slow breath with me. Whatever you came into this message needing, whether it was comfort or hope, or simply a reminder that you matter to someone, somewhere, I hope some part of it found you today. That's really all any of us are looking for, underneath everything. To matter, to be seen, to be remembered kindly. You are seen. Right now, reading these words, you are seen. And whatever you've quietly given to the people around you, even the moments you've already forgotten, they haven't forgotten. They're carrying it with them even now. One more thing before we close, dear one. Somewhere along the way, many of us learn to measure our worth by how useful we are to other people. How much we give, how much we fix, how much we carry so someone else doesn't have to. And there's nothing wrong with a giving heart. The world needs more of them, honestly. But your worth was never meant to be a performance review. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to earn softness. You don't have to earn being loved simply for existing. If you've been running yourself thin, trying to be everything for everyone, let this be your permission slip to slow down. The love you've poured into other people hasn't disappeared. It's out there, quietly doing its work, changing rooms you'll never even walk into again. That's the strange, beautiful thing about kindness. Keeps moving long after we've let go of it. And on the days when it feels like nothing you do matters, when the effort feels invisible and unnoticed, remember this message. Remember that somewhere, someone is glowing because of something you did without even realizing it. That's not a coincidence. That's simply how quiet, honest love tends to work in this world. It shows up small and it stays. So today, dear one, be gentle with yourself the way you're gentle with everyone else. Speak to yourself the way you'd speak to someone you love deeply. Forgive yourself for the days you didn't have the energy to show up fully. You're allowed to be tired. You're allowed to be a work in progress. You're allowed to still be healing while also being a light for someone else. Both things can be true at the same time. There's a quiet kind of strength in staying soft in a world that often tells us to harden up. It takes courage to keep caring after you've been hurt. It takes courage to keep believing in connection after connection has let you down before. If you're still here, still open, still willing to love people gently, that's not weakness. That's one of the bravest things a person can do. Sometimes the biggest shifts in our lives don't come from huge dramatic moments. They come from small quiet choices made again and again to stay kind, to stay honest, to stay open even when it would be easier to close off. If that's been your journey lately, dear one, know that it's being noticed, even in the moments it feels like no one's watching. Let this also be a gentle reminder that healing isn't a straight line. Some days you'll feel lighter, more at peace, more sure of yourself. Other days the old heaviness might creep back in, and that's okay too. It doesn't erase the progress you've made. It just means you're human, still growing, still learning how to hold both light and hard days at the same time. If you take nothing else from this message today, take this: you are worthy of the same warmth you give so freely to everyone around you. You deserve patience. You deserve softness. You deserve someone who notices the small things about you the way you notice them in others. And if that hasn't found you yet, it doesn't mean it isn't coming. It simply means it hasn't arrived yet. And timing, real timing, can't be rushed no matter how much we wish it could. Before you go, take one more slow breath with me. Whatever you came into this message needing, whether it was comfort or hope, or simply a reminder that you matter to someone, somewhere, I hope some part of it found you today. That's really all any of us are looking for underneath everything. To matter, to be seen, to be remembered kindly. You are seen. Right now, reading these words, you are seen. And whatever you've quietly given to the people around you, even the moments you've already forgotten, they haven't forgotten. They're carrying it with them even now. Trust the timing of your life, even when it feels slow or unclear. Trust your own heart, even on the days it feels uncertain or tired. And trust that whatever is truly meant for you, the people, the healing, the peace, is already quietly finding its way toward you, one gentle step at a time. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are exactly where you need to be. Amen. Dear beautiful soul, this angel's message for you channel is a sacred spiritual home, created for faith, healing, and divine guidance. A place where hearts awaken and lives are gently transformed through divine messages. We warmly invite you to subscribe and stay connected, because the divine is always preparing something greater for your journey, something you are meant to receive in divine timing. If you feel moved to support this mission, you can sow your seed here for your soulmate blessings and divine love fulfillment. Your contribution is not just support. It is an energetic agreement with love, healing, and divine alignment in your own life. When you give with intention, it opens doors. Love flows more freely, happiness expands, and abundance multiplies in unexpected ways. Many believe that giving in faith activates a return of peace, joy, and emotional fulfillment in relationships and life. Whether it is $11, $22, $33, or $55, your generosity helps us continue spreading these divine messages of hope, healing, and soulmate guidance across the world. Every seed sown into this mission helps hearts heal, faith return, and souls reconnect with love. This is more than a channel. It is a movement of light, unity, and divine timing. Your support allows this sacred work to grow, touching lives that are searching for answers, comfort, and spiritual direction. We are all connected in this journey, and together we rise as one community under divine love. Let us open our hearts to the abundance that is already on its way. Amen.